Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Lillian Coley, and this is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. I saw a video that, there's a lot of videos out there, but I saw a video that had so many things that in the video with the timeline being off. I felt a need to just help everybody with the timeline regarding my godson's case and I wasn't sure where this person's information they had gotten from, whether it was out there on the web or whether it was one of the cases that were filed by the associate parties, defendants, I don't know. Whatever it was, I wanted to address it. So that's why I'm trying to just address that. I found it on Instagram, and basically, in a nutshell, it just had a lot of inconsistencies with the timeline. And I felt the need for us to talk about it. So I'm going to bring it up so we can look at it and talk about it. I do appreciate the young lady who says she's not an attorney, and she said she went down the rat hole, but she unfortunately didn't get all the information that's really out there. She just had part of it, and it was probably kind of confusing, and you can't put it together from a one-sided thing because there's always stuff that's missing. I'm thankful that I was a part of it from not the beginning, but close to it. And I want to make it clear right off the bat that my godson, my goddaughter, Wanda'story, was underage, right? So she was an underage mother. And the case is really beyond paternity, everybody. That's really why everybody threw on the stuff at the wall. But at the end of the day, Wanda requested a paternity test one time in Pennsylvania, and that was it. Right? There was something that came afterwards, the second time, and that was because the first one was made in error, right? Because the judge didn't know have all the information, and that's what you got to get. You got to get the information. You can't get it from just a little short video of somebody's interpretation. But I do appreciate her trying to do what she did. But of course, there's more confusion than ever. But that's okay. That's what you got us here for. So here I want to go over the video, just talk about a little bit. I don't know if I want to go through the whole 12 because one of the persons, she said, I'm tired. But yeah, basically, they made it look like that, but it wasn't really that. But the thing is, when fraud and corruption comes in and it's across state lines, it's messy, everybody, because somebody did everything they could to stop the case. And guess what? It didn't work. See? And at the end of the day, nobody's looking for a paternity test. But we're going to talk about the fraud, though. Let's talk about it, everybody. So let's keep it real with Dr. Lisa. I'm going to play, and she's got her interpretation, and I'll stop it and let you know in regard to what parts of it that is completely off base. All right, everybody? And I think I want to come in and do my own on my own. And then after that, people can understand what's happening. But I don't know if I want to do that now. So let's do it here. I'm going to do hers. I'm saying a separate. Thank you.
Jay-Z, Are You My Daddy lawsuit. And I'm not a lawyer, but after reading all of the documents, the transcripts, the orders, and the appeals, there are 4 key things to know about this case.
So this is not an all Are You My Daddy lawsuit, right? It started out that way, but at the current places as now, it's not. But I hear you. Let's keep going.
Let me give you the recap. For context up front, this is Rymir Satterthwaite, and the resemblance to Jay-Z is low-key hilarious. Rymir's mother was 16 at the time she got pregnant with him, and according to Google, since he is now 32 and Jay-Z is 55, that would mean if Jay-Z is the father, Jay-Z was 23 at the time that Rymir was conceived, and the mother was 16. You see the problem.
Right. So clearly right here is about the baby part. But even if Jay-Z is not the father, according to Wanda'story's affidavit, she still had a relationship or sex with him. Get that picture. That's another problem. So there's 2 problems, America.
Okay, so on to the case. On June 10, 2010, Rymir's mother, whose name is Wanda, filed a motion in Pennsylvania courts requesting that Jay-Z and another man named Robert Graves take a paternity test regarding her son, Rymir. Now, it's important to understand that up until this point, Robert Graves was understood to be the father of Rymir, and he had been paying child support for Rymir for 16 years.
Okay, that's totally wrong. So let me give you the facts. Robert Graves did not pay for 16 years of child support. He paid a small portion. And the reason why people are saying that is because they assumed it. Just because somebody's in your life doesn't mean they're paying child support. Just think about how people are in and out your life, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't even work. But when he did work, that they took the child support because that's what they do. But let's back up. Robert Graves was a minor as well as Wanda. You had 2 minors. And then one minor, the person put their name on the birth certificate for Rymir because he felt compassion and sorry for Wanda. Wanda never asked him to put his name on the birth certificate. She had an on and off boyfriend. He was going around the neighborhood saying he wasn't the father. He said, and then I think he said he thought I could be. And that's why he went to the hospital having compassion on her. And the nurse came out off and on saying who's going to sign, who's going to sign. And he wound up signing his name. That's one of the reasons we always tell our young men, don't sign until you know. So he did not pay any child support for 16 years. He paid it for a very small amount of time and money once he was disestablished later. And I'm not going to say the amount because it's very small, but he was given that money back. So this information is incorrect.
But Wanda wanted this test done to show that Robert was in fact not Rymir's father and that Jay-Z, according to her, is.
So Wanda from the beginning knew that the child wasn't his. And she's going to talk about her own opinion regarding why she did what she did. She knew the child wasn't his. Materially, the way he looked when he got about 3 years old, she knew it even more. And she went to him saying to Robert, saying, let's get the test done so you can confirm, because of the fact that she knew. Nonetheless, Robert at the time, Rymir was 3, did not want to do it. And it was reasons why he didn't want to do it, because remember, they were both minors. Don't forget that part. So at the end of the day, Wanda went along with that, but she knew in her heart who the father, she believed the father was. And she asked Robert, as I just said, to take the test, and he said, just let it go. Now, obviously, if you're on and off boyfriend, you're going to be on and off boyfriend. What she doesn't say is that Wanda was in a domestic violence relationship with Robert. She missed that. There's police reports and other things, and there was a reason why Wanda delayed this whole thing. Being in an unhealthy relationship, off and on with Robert, since she was in the 10th grade, they both were minors. And then he signed the birth certificate on his own. I hope that's clear, everybody.
At one hearing in 2013, Wanda told a judge that she always knew Robert Graves was not Rymir's father, but she didn't pursue going after Jay-Z when Rymir was little because she was constantly working and because she was in a relationship with Robert Graves and she was pregnant with her second child, which she knew he was the father of. So
right.
She just said he was the father of Rymir too.
No, she didn't say that. What she did was she allowed it to go the way it was because of the fact that she was in an on and off relationship with him, very volatile, and she was trying to work it out during that time. And she was right. She was working, she was going to school, she was caught up in her life, and she tried to talk to him about it. He said no, so she didn't pursue it, right? So there was a delay in there. And that's also, she was in domestic violence. This child was being beaten. Get that picture. So I just want y'all to be clear on what's really going on.
So fast forward to about a month after Wanda puts in this initial petition, and while a judge grants the petition regarding Robert Graves, the judge denied the petition regarding Jay-Z.
No, that's not true. So she doesn't show you Robert Graves' petition. Why is it not on the screen? She only shows Sean Carter. There were 2 petitions for 2 men, and Roberts was not granted, everybody. Roberts was not granted, and I'll get that order somewhere. His was not granted, and Sean was not served, Sean Carter. So Robert and Sean were both petitioned. Wanda wanted them both to come in, and they were unsuccessful. And I'll look for it because there is I'm gonna show you the order.
Judge said it's denied because a mother cannot wait 17 years to name a second person as the father of her child when for 16 years she has said that this other man, meaning Robert Graves, was the father, and she never made any indication that that wasn't the truth until now.
So again, on the Robert Graves case, she talks about the matter being denied because of res judicata. I think she's going to get into that, but she did not grant Robert to take the test. So let's make this clear. She didn't do anything because she felt that there was already a man on the birth certificate because he was, right?
So the petition for Jay-Z to take the test was denied. About 8 months later,
the petition for Sean Carter, just so you'll know, he was never served. So it was not really denied. It was never served. She just denied this the request she made because the actual serving of it was never done or fully executed.
Filed another petition requesting Jay-Z to take a test. It was again filed in Pennsylvania.
So this was wrong as well. So in March of 2011, because of what happened in 2010, just so you know, when she came in with the two men, she wanted to do what she did. She didn't serve them correctly. And the judge said what he said for two different orders. So then I went in with her, I think March or February of that year, and explained to the judge that why she delayed everything because of domestic violence, the problem, so forth and so on. So technically speaking, this is like the real request, but you can say it's the second one because this is the second one he actually probably would find out about. But before he could even find out about it, it gets stopped because it was confusion. Because remember, this is a little bit of corruption going on, right? There's some stuff in there with Jay-Z's attorney, Ned Hart. He's got wind on some of the stuff, and he is doing some stuff behind the scenes through his family members.
And the judge for the second request again denies her request, saying that the matter was res judicata, which basically means a judge has already ruled on this.
So this is the part where it's very interesting to me because she never puts up Robert Graves' order. Robert Graves was not granted paternity tests back then. It was two men, Robert and Sean, and she didn't really deny both of them. She just basically said, we ain't doing it because it wasn't served. Pretty much. That's what the judge said. So that's why she had to come back in March to do it right. And that's where I helped her at. Thank you.
And the judge notes in the order that if Wanda did not agree with the first denial, the proper thing to do would have been for her to appeal that denial, not wait 8 months to just file a new request.
Okay. And the reason why Wanda said she waited is because she got sick. Just so you know. So that's when she got sick. And then I came back into the picture. Me and her got back together because we were all over the place. I couldn't find her in terms of geographics. And she said that she got sick during that time, and that's what the delay was about.
So while all of this back and forth regarding Jay-Z is happening, the results for the paternity test for Robert Graves comes back and confirmed that he is not the father of Rymir.
All right. Again, Robert Graves' test was not done by the court. Robert Graves wound up doing it on his own outside the court because he didn't want to be a part of the court system, etc. So there was a chain of custody done through that mechanism and so forth and so on.
And so at this point, Rymir's godmother steps in and she files a petition in New Jersey.
Right. So here we find this is the messy mess right here because Rymir in March, Wanda does what she does as far as pursuing a paternity test from both men. And she was not trying to, do something deep. She just asked the two men. She gets sick when all this stuff was going on again. And around April or May of that year, I get custody of her child because she had got gravely ill. So that's what's going on around this time. Right after this March thing, she gets gravely ill. And then I get her child legally. I got her child legally July 2011. Actually, it was June 16th, to be honest. June 16th, 2011, I became the legal guardian of Rymir Satterthwaite. Now, May is when we started pursuing it with the court because all this stuff was happening at the same time. Just so you guys will know. And then these crazy things are going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about with the orders because I wasn't a party to some of that because I was just helping Wanda on the side because she had the real bad asthma and all this other stuff going on. So when I started becoming a part of the picture, that's when things changed. So some of this stuff is like incorrect.
Not Pennsylvania, where everything else had been filed. She files this new request in New Jersey.
And the reason why I filed in New Jersey is because I had the kid. I had physical and legal custody of the child, and I lived in New Jersey. I would not be able to file anything in Pennsylvania because now I'm the legal guardian as of June 16th, 2011. Get that picture. So legally, June 16th, 2011, I take the kid to New Jersey. I become his legal guardian, and that's why I'm filing there in that particular thing. Because actually what she's talking about, the caretaker, June 11th, is that I particularly petitioned to court, but I petitioned to court that year, but I also waited until the following year because of the paperwork that was going on in Pennsylvania. I hope y'all following this. It is crazy because it was corruption. That's why it's crazy, y'all. It's corruption.
But the judge in New Jersey denies the godmom's request, saying that this issue has already been dealt with in Pennsylvania, and so there's no reason for a New Jersey judge to try to step in and re-examine it.
Right. What they actually said was for me to go to Pennsylvania and get the jurisdiction of the child relinquished to New Jersey, which I did. That's when another set of fraud came. So what happened was then I went to New Jersey, or Pennsylvania rather, from New Jersey after getting that order. And the judge told me then to go get the jurisdiction relinquished, because once Robert Graves, just so y'all can explain to y'all, once Robert Graves was disestablished, the order which blocked us from going to get Carter for testing no longer existed. So we had a pathway to Carter. So once Robert Graves was disestablished, disabled, so to speak, from being a paternity, he did not pay child support for 16 years. That is completely false. Once that happened, we got all that situation with Robert done, then the pathway opened for Carter. So that means that the order that used to stop us from Carter no longer has any legal value, because now Robert is not there. That was the only reason why the court called res judicata, because they thought that another person was already there. But because the person was gone now, Robert, the pathway opened. So this could be crazy, but y'all ain't got to get into all this. Y'all ain't got, the bottom line is this back and forth stuff that go with family court and when kids go across state lines. But her timeline and information is incorrect.
From here, Rymir's mother, Wanda, begins her appeal process. She takes the paternity test from Robert Graves, showing that he's not the father, and argues that that's reason enough for the denials to be overturned. And it worked.
Right. It wasn't Wanda, though. I did the petition because I had the kid. But my attorney, James Rocco, switched my name with Wanda's. True story. So now you got more fraud coming because they were working together to make a mess in Pennsylvania. So by the time I got to Jersey to do the petition again, it would be messed up. So they took my name off. I paid him and he put Wanda's name on there. So I was really the person supposedly appealing the court.
A Pennsylvania court agreed with Wanda and said that even though she didn't file her appeal within 30 days, which is when the appeal deadline expired, this newfound evidence of this DNA test qualifies as extraordinary enough to waive the 30-day rule, vacate the denial orders, and grant Wanda's petition for Jay-Z to take the test.
No. That's completely incorrect. We were never asking him to do the paternity test at this point because the kid is in New Jersey. What we were asking the court to do is relinquish jurisdiction, which they did, and they never appealed that. And we were asking the court to vacate a void order. There's a void order of Mr. Carter's that was on the record. We wanted to vacate it. And the reason why you want to vacate a void order is just because of this stuff right here. Because people take void orders and they try to use it in California. They'll try to use it in Florida. But if you have the order vacated, like we did with Robert Graves vacating his paternity, then people can't play the game. So it was never about paternity at this point. This is an incorrect statement. And what's going to happen is the way you find out is you look at the appeal records. The appeal records show exactly what the defendant actually appealed. He never appealed a paternity test. He appealed the fact that the mother could not ask the court for anything, and she was asking the court to vacate a void order. I hope you got that, everybody.
But then Jay-Z said, not so fast. He appealed her appeal, and on April 23rd, 2013, the denial orders.
So there was no appeal of appeal. So that part, she has the incorrect as well. But at the end of the day, Judge Dorch, not Judge Dorch, but Judge Doris Petro at the trial court level approved the relinquishing of the jurisdiction. That was appeal, but it was never an appeal of an appeal. Let's get that straight.
Are put back in place. The Superior Court of Pennsylvania that overturned Wanda's appeal said that the 30-day rule is typically only waived when a person in a case finds out their ruling late. So as an example, if Wanda didn't find out that her petition was denied until 30 days after the judge ruled on it, that would be reason enough to waive the 30 days because she wouldn't have known her petition was denied and therefore couldn't have appealed within the 30 days. But
so I can't even go through the whole thing because it's so much that's not wrong, right? But I'm gonna do it in pieces. So this part here is also wrong. And the reason why it is because Wanda was sick during that time. Remember I said that? So there was a problem and why it was delayed because we didn't know at the time that her name was switched over. We didn't know they put her name on there. But during this time that this was going on, she had gotten ill and sick, and that was the reason why I had her kid. So I'm gonna play the last little piece, and this will be the end for this part because I had to do this in 3 parts because this is a lot. It's a lot of stuff that's wrong. Thank you.
But the Superior Court says that's not what happened here. Wanda was well aware her petition was denied, and she had enough time to appeal it in the proper time frame. She just didn't. And so,
well, she didn't because she was sick.
So the denial orders are put back in place, and that leads me to the first thing you need to know about this case, which is that as of now, Jay-Z is not court ordered to take a DNA test regarding Rymir.
So that's incorrect as well, because at this point now, we were not asking for a court to do a DNA test in Pennsylvania because we're in Jersey. We're not asking for it. So yeah, they wouldn't do it, but they knew the underlying issue before all of that other stuff came up from outside of it was dealing with DNA. I mean, it's hard to talk about, y'all. It's exhausting. So no, Jay-Z was not ordered because we're in Jersey. All right, so that will be the end of this piece. I'll come back and pick up from here. Let me just see what else she said. I think she's going to go on to the second thing. So we'll go on to the second thing, but you see what I'm saying, everybody? Exhausting. Part 1 debunked. So this is the part 1 here. All right, let me just stop this. Let me stop it, everybody. So I needed to come on to get that straight. A lot of misinformation, a lot of stuff that didn't happen, and a lot of foolishness. He was not even asked to do a paternity test at the time frame that she's talking about because the child was in New Jersey. Do y'all get that? This is a lie. This is all kinds of trying to make it look like it's something it's not. It ain't gonna work, everybody. All right. So let me just say what I'm going to say. This is Keep It Real with Dr. Lil. This is part 1 of the debunking and trying to get the information correct. I mean, God bless the girl. And I'm sure she's not going to contact us for corrections because maybe there's some other things going on there. Nonetheless, it's not right, everybody. So we'll be on to talk about what the timeline looks like and what actually happened. And the stuff that they're saying didn't happen. That's a rat hole that don't have all the information, right? It didn't have it. So you kind of mixing up stuff with language, and the language doesn't always say what really happened because you wasn't there, right? You wasn't there. So at the end of the day, this is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. So glad to be among the land of the living. Well, the devil can't do you no harm. I will go back and debunk the rest of it, but I'm tired now. It exhausted me too because I know what they're trying to do, and it's not going to be successful, but it's okay. We'll be fine with it. I'm going to just trust God in everything that we do. Talk to you soon, everybody. Keep it real with Dr. Lil.